Welcome to today's interview. Story of Marilyn and how her marvelous makeover and how she's been able to transform her body at the age of 65. And she's lost over 35 pounds here in this last year. She's gone from steadily gaining weight year after year and has been able to overcome that. So we've been able to flip her world upside down. We've been able to transform her habits, her lifestyle, and her nutrition to allow her to be able to maintain and sustain a new life that allows her to maintain and enjoy her physical activities. What I'm going to be doing is trying to invite her on, and thank you for joining us. If you're not able to join, jump into the live recording here, and that will be in the group here. So let me get her on the hook here. All right, cool. So as soon as she jumps in, then we will be off and going. So I've been working with Marilyn for a little bit now, and been able to really enjoy her work and her effort in getting this stuff handled. So welcome, Debbie, to today's show. There is Marilyn herself. We're going to be bringing her on, and let me get her, bring her on camera. There we go. Add. Fantastic. And so am I. And we did a little promo the other day to kind of share some of where she was and where she's at now. So we will dive in. And it sounds like she is here. What is up? How are you?
I'm great today. How are you, Brian?
I am doing wonderful again, as usual, right? So thanks so much for joining us. I just ran across we've talked about this before in the past, but I ran across one of your older profile pictures on Instagram, and you need to update that, lady. You need to update that, okay? And I know we did that with your current one on Facebook, where we got you outside moving and feeling really good about where you've been and what you've been able to accomplish. So today's all about you, and I want to hear more about, not even me, I know what it is. Maybe you can share some extra things that you haven't already, but let's share what's been going on with you, with everyone else, and create some inspiration and encouragement for them in their health, their fitness journey. And so I want to kind of go rewind all the way to the back and kind of walk you through your story and where you were, what we have done together, and what you're looking forward to. So let's rewind and go back to prior to us even meeting. Like what was happening in the last decade or so?
Well, the last decade or so, it was as far as lifestyle. I was working, and then I went into retirement.
Mm-hmm.
And, life was good. Life was plodding along. But it was getting to the time, about a year before you and I even met or spoke, that I noticed things were changing.
Right.
I wasn't moving, aching. I didn't feel good. The weight was still there. Didn't go away by itself.
Right.
I wasn't motivated to do a whole lot of things for myself.
Okay.
And I was feeling that. It was a conversation in my head. I don't necessarily think I vocalized it to many people.
Right.
But, I'm like, oh, this isn't good. I'm retired. I'm blessed to be retired.
Right.
And have this. I need to evaluate this situation.
Right.
And then I think it was later that year is when I first verbalized it to my son and said, I need to do something. I need to feel better. I'm slow moving. I'm doing this. That's when he said, I know someone. And I'm like,
right.
He goes, you need a trainer. You need somebody to help you get started. And I'm like, I do. And he goes, yeah, I know a guy. And so he contacted you,
Right.
and
he did.
And said, well, thinking about it, and lo and behold, in this procrastination, I told him no, I'm not doing it.
Yeah. We went over that the other day of the time gap from the initial contact to when we actually got contact. So I was like 7 months. Yeah.
in between that time, uh, I had a visit with my doctor.
Yeah.
And it turned out not to be such a great report. She looked
Right.
at me and she said, these numbers aren't good. Pre-diabetic, cholesterols, everything,
Yeah.
medications. And I'm like, whoa,
Right.
I have family members, a sister that deals with diabetes. And I also have another sister who's always been, she's an RN and she's always been in good health and
Right.
watches her weight. So it was like, I had both sides of the
Polar
spectrum and there I
opposites.
am in the middle.
Sure.
And
You could go either
like,
way,
whoa.
right?
Yeah, I was on the line there. I said, say,
Right.
which way am I going to head down this?
Right.
So after that very unhappy report from my doctor, I, again, with my son, was doing some complaining.
John.
And he goes, I didn't number. And I'm like, well, call him. And he did. And
Right.
he says, okay. So we talked and you asked a lot of questions, Brian.
I do. That's my secret sauce. I'm gonna say it's my secret weapon. Questions, the power of questions. So, yeah, we dove into quite a bit. Do you remember anything that we kind of talked about or dove into with those questions?
Yeah, your first thing you asked about, my concerns, and I said, I just got to get some weight. I've been so inactive this past year, and I'm starting to feel the effects of that.
Right.
I'm concerned about my strength. Climbing stairs was getting difficult.
Right.
Aches and pains can come, and I'm like, this isn't good. And
Nope.
other things were happening that in my son's life that I was going to get excited about. He engaged, and I'm like, oh, this is wonderful. Setting a lovely lifestyle for himself, and maybe
Right.
down the road I get to be a grandmother. And
Right.
and I'm like, can I handle it? I'm not sure if I'm strong enough,
Right.
and I'm not. I'm just general happiness with.
Right. Now I have 4 kids, so 8, 7, 4, almost 5, and 3, and they can be a lot. So like just becoming a new grandma and having to take on those responsibilities and actually learning what those are, and even fast forward 5 years down the road when all the activities start to show up. You'll be in full grandma mode into like the loving, caring, but then when that happens. But like fast forward like 12 to 15 years from now, that's like activity grandma mode. And you got to be running around here and there, and you got to be like showing up to their events and participating and doing all those things. So, yeah, we were able to really kind of reflect on like, hey, like what does 10 years from now look like if you stay on your current path? And you weren't really happy when you started to think about that. And did you ever think that far forward about what the consequences were of your current actions?
Well, obviously I didn't give it a lot of thought, but I haven't done anything about it. But when
Sure.
Seeing that negative doctor visit and then seeing my son building his future and also thinking about wedding photos. Wedding photos last a time. I didn't want to be
Sure.
an overweight, old looking person. I wanted to be
Right.
happy and vibrant,
Right.
for him and our and
Uh-huh.
it was
Uh-huh. Excellent. So
So,
we got some really good insights and reflections on you from where you were at, where you were kind of heading if you didn't make a change, closer towards your diabetic sister. You said one shocking thing that I keep remembering is about the actual physical cost of the diabetes that she has to carry on, and that was just like the out-of-pocket expense, and I'm sure it was a lot more. But what was it that you shared with me on that?
well, I went to visit her and she was talking and she says, the cost for her insulin has just, doubled, almost tripled, and she was spending $500 a month
Right.
that she wasn't spending before
Right.
for her insulin.
Right. So in a year,
Not understanding is for that. That's a lot of money.
$6,000 in a year. on insulin,
Yes, I
something
can.
that your body, yeah, we can all do a lot with $6,000. That's something that your body produces naturally and helps regulate carbs and body fat. And when it gets out of whack with diabetes, especially like say type 2, that's completely preventable, then you start incurring those extra expenses. So just insulin was $500 a month. Then we go fast forward to testing strips, or the needles themselves, or the doctor's visits, the insurance to cover all that stuff. You could be looking at like $10,000+ a year because of diabetes, because you brought on type 2 diabetes. And I don't know about you, but I can sure spend $10,000 a much better way. You could buy a nice car and just make payments on it for cheaper. So so that was kind of it. And I remember that it's just like, wow, okay, so an extra $500 a month for her to just spend on something that her body makes naturally. So you decided to move forward, right? We decided that, all right, great, let's engage, let's get going. And what were some, if you remember, what were some of the things that we started engaging with? Like what had created, like, let's go to current changes right now. What's your current transformation? Like, I know that we talked about it the other day, like 35 pounds, right?
Yeah.
So you're about 35 pounds down, right? And if you mind sharing your age again, you did it on the promo, so I can ask you again, right?
I'm almost 65 years old.
Right, so she's right there. And what do your friends like? What do you what is the social circle or the energy in, say, that age range? If you're in retirement, like, are you supposed to be fit and healthy, or are you supposed to gain weight, or like, what's the attitude on that? And what do you get from your friends?
Well, from my friends, the first thing, it's always nice because they're like, wow, look at you. You look great.
Right.
And I need to do what you're doing. Some are still working. Some,
right.
They complain they can't fit it into their schedule. Right. Well, I have a few things to tell them about that.
About retirement, right? It's just as busy, right?
Word from somebody I know. And I says, there's always room somewhere.
Right.
And you have the gift of retirement. You have the gift of time. You have the gift of being able to travel. And I have a busy life. I have this full schedule. And people always used to tease me about that. You're busier now than ever. And I'm like, yeah, I'm a soul person. I want to be out there. I want to be having fun. But I don't want the aches, the pains, and getting tired and having to rest so much. That's what is happening for me. And I'm like, I'm too tired. I'm having to take a nap. I just need to put my feet up. And that's not really where I wanted to be.
So you're losing life when you should be expanding life, right? At least the experiences and the opportunities when you have more time to do so. Like I'm 35. I'm working myself pretty darn hard so that I can experience life on a even higher level as I continue to grow. So yeah, that's what the golden years of life are, right? Like being a grandma, traveling, doing things that you sacrifice early on to raise a family, to provide, and to do those typical things that everyone is dealing with, right? So we're down 35 pounds. You're realizing that aches and pains and things are slowing you down, and that's why we got moving. So let's go back to kind of the beginning of the coaching and our work together. What was some of the impactful things that started to create positive long-term shifts that allowed you to be able to lose the weight, but also maintain? So many people will lose the weight, but they gain 40 pounds back. Well, good job. You might as well have just stayed where you were, So.
Well, I know when we first started talking, we set up to talk, you brought out a couple of simple things. It's just like, I want you to commit to walking.
Right.
30 minutes a day.
Right.
And you asked me, can you do that? And I'm like, looked you dead in the eye, and I said, I think I can. I know I can.
Right.
Then he said, I want you to drink water. And I'm like, well, he goes, 65 ounces or 64 ounces of water per day. And my eyes nearly popped out of my head. I'm like, what? He goes, I prefer it to 100. Real nonchalant. And I'm like,
Right.
holy. And he goes, well, let's start with 64. We sort of began. You added water to my life, and then we talked about food. And food, we shared what I ate, what I did, what minor changes I had to make, what was important. And, Brian, in the beginning, you get real nervous that you got to give up. And
All the things.
it didn't turn out to be the case. I think the harder part of this journey for me was the activity more than the food.
Okay.
I found keeping up with the activity made eating the food, I could manage my food better knowing I did my activity in. I don't know why, it just seemed to click.
That was just for you, right? That's how it clicked, right?
Right. So that's where I started. It was just committing to activity,
right.
Drinking my water. It took a while. It happened overnight. But yeah, that's where it started. And just paying attention to what I'm eating. I didn't get into, all the prepackaged stuff. I ate regular food, but I, trying to take out, the fried foods, taking out, the sweets and the breads and the cookies and those are things I like. And I thought, oh my gosh, how am I going to survive? But, you told me, you don't have to give them up. You just manage it. And you manage it, and you manage it.
Yeah, we definitely manage it well.
And,
right. Yep.
You did, so you can have little things, but you always said you just find the balance. If you're going to a celebration and you think there's things you want to, have a taste of, up the workout a little bit or fast a little bit longer and save the time and calories in the day. Little things like that, and it all made sense and it fell into place. It wasn't that hard to do. You had somebody talk you through it.
Right. Now, so speaking and talking you through it, do you think without the accountability, the commitment, the support, the coaching, would you have been able to do or maintain and even get pushed to drop more weight? Do you think you've been able to do that?
No. A quick, easy no. I didn't know much about coaching. I didn't know much about a trainer. When my son first mentioned it to me, it's sort of like, oh, that's something I've never even thought to do.
Right.
And, that was the best thing I've done. The accountability, the motivation you provide, and yet telling me it's all you. I'm just here to be. It's sort of like you're here to give me guidance. Sometimes you're a sounding board. Sometimes and it's like, just a little tweak here and there, but it's really important it's really important in my journey. And people are stuck and can't find any movement in this direction for their health. I would highly recommend to sign on and with you, you're a great trainer, and get you started. It wasn't as hard as it was making it out to be.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask next was, did we ask you to do anything crazy?
No.
Did we ask you to give up all the things?
No.
No. Did we ask you to walk 20 miles a day or something, or hit the gym every single day, or? No.
I was complicated, and you helped me to simplify it. And
Yes.
that's what I found. I was making it so complicated,
Right.
and you would keep it. It's just simple. 20 minutes to do this, or a 30-minute walk. It's not complicated,
Right.
but I tended to go that way.
Right. Right. It's easy to do that. To be honest, so you're not the only one, and you know the what would you have done if John wouldn't have offered my coaching? You know, would you have gone to books or the internet or some other program or something, or would you have just kind of, well, I guess I need to talk to my friends, or you know, what would have been a resource that you may have used um, without
I
this?
I probably would have tried a weight loss program I had in the past. I've done. I'm a prime example of all that yo-yo dieting, trying
Right.
the Weight Watchers, trying the other diets here and there,
Right.
and it turned out to get the weight back on.
Right.
What I needed was the training for physically moving. You know, I found that's what I needed: motivation, accountability to get myself moving. I guess I'm a lazy person. I didn't like moving that much, but I liked out and about. But it wasn't the right kind of moving. I mean, I needed some strength
Right.
training. I needed
Right.
needed to make sure I'm mobile,
Hmm.
and for long term,
Right.
it was harming me.
Right. Let's talk about the strength training. The aspect. You know, a lot of people, a lot of women especially, get intimidated. They are nervous. They've never done it. The gym is full of meatheads and guys that are gonna like boss you around and like flex their muscles on you to get you out of the way. Um, was that ever your experience, or what? Or were we able to work through some of those ideas, those stories that you were creating in your head about that?
I I was intimidated with like free weights and that area of a gym because it was, as you described, all these men over there, and I'm
Right.
like, I didn't know what to do. So
Right.
I would go to a few of the equipment machines and do a few lifts and this and that, but really didn't know what I was doing. And I
Sure.
wasn't comfortable, so I didn't maintain it. I just didn't feel knowledgeable enough to handle
Right.
that.
Right.
And gave me too. You showed me how to use the machines, how to approach daily activity, how to approach a workout, how to set up a
Right.
workout.
Right. Yeah, we
And
did talk
I
about
didn't do
that.
that. Things complicated for myself.
One of the big things on my heart is that we're working together now, but there may be a time that we don't work together, and that's fine. And the whole point of coaching and the whole point of if I'm doing my job, I'm always looking for employment. I'm always looking for more opportunities, more clients, because I'm serving them at the highest level I possibly can. I'm delivering exactly what I promised and some, over delivering, right? And then you're equipped to maintain and handle this transformational process from here on out. So like the next decade or two, you should be able to easily maintain what it is that we've put into place. That's not complicated. It's not consuming. It's something that we've created in a lifestyle and behavior changes for you that you can follow through on. So when your grandchildren are of the activity stage, then you're able to hang with them. You'll be in your 70s and like around 75, and they'll be excited. I had a grandmother that was very active in my life, especially around that age. She was about 70-ish to 75 when I was going through middle school and high school. And she was at every event. She was super supportive. She was like my number one cheerleader and very influential person in my life. And it was because she simply showed up. She simply loved me, and she simply was there for me to encourage me and push me forward and stuff. And so, like, you'll be able to do that, and we'll have given you the tools to be able to do that. And so that's kind of on my heart, is that we coach you from where you're at now to where you want to go, and make sure that it's sustainable. It's something that you can do. Now, if we continue working together, it's your choice. You're like, I really appreciate the support and the accountability, and that's something that I want in my life. And then we talk about what that looks like. But I'm not over here like a typical trainer. Like, if I would have, rewound to my very beginnings when I was in the gym as a personal trainer, but get a client and you keep them, and you do enough with them to make sure that they retain with you, because then you don't have to get a new client. You've got this person 3 times a week, and you're getting them okay results, but not necessarily transformational results. And that's kind of what the biggest difference in my professional development has been. Is, all right, so yeah, we can deliver like weight loss, but I want to deliver transformational benefits to you, and that's what gets me so excited. So, like, yes, we've lost 35 pounds. Yes, we still have some more goals for you, and I keep pushing you for those, right? But like, what's most exciting is for you to say, hey, Brian, like, I am so grateful for our work together and the things that you've taught me and encouraged me to do, because I can participate. I am there for my son. I am there in my family. I'm the matriarch, and they all love me because I'm capable of doing it. I can show up. Like, unfortunately, my grandma, she ended up getting some diabetes, and it really started affecting her health in a very negative way. And so that huge matriarch status that she had in my life, she faded, especially when I had kids. When she had great grandchildren, she was not there like she was for me. And I just so wish that she would have been, because she would have done double awesome. She would have been so much more to them than she was to me, because, love, when you are that grandma's love, like, just, it exponentially grows with, the bigger your family gets, right? So I can only imagine, like, when you encounter great grandchildren, like, your love for them is going to be even more, because you just see it's your child's child, and it's like, wow, like, this is so cool. And so yeah, there you go. But okay, and then so we've kind of talked about some of the process stuff. So what are some of the things that I'm pushing you towards now? Like, what are we creating for your future? Like, what's most important, the things that I keep pushing your buttons to kind of get you to do?
Well, first I want to report, since I've been working with you, and I've gone back to the doctor, and all my numbers are good.
Yeah.
My numbers have gone in the last 2 visits. I've become a healthier me.
Yes.
And when the doctor comes up and gives me a great big hug and says, good job, keep it up, you feel proud of yourself.
You should.
Yeah, and I did, and it was very inspiring and important to me. I have it in me, and it is the biggest struggle is you pull from your inner self to do for you. You set your goals. You want to be mobile. You want to live a full life. You want to be involved with your family and friends. You want to be involved with the world. You have to be able to move and be out there and function.
Right.
You can't be, you just can't be stay at home because you're too tired or something hurt.
Right.
And I don't want that. I'm in my retirement years. I want to live a full and very vibrant life. So you always push to, keep it moving. Stay on top of your diet or what you're doing.
Right.
Go for the experiences, push yourself.
Right.
When I struggle with some changes, you're always there with another suggestion.
welcome to